What is up, ladies and gentlemen, YouTube? That's right. I'm Chris Smith, and today I'm going to be talking about Shameless, Season 6, Episode 4. So let's get this thing started. Stay to the end. Hopefully you comment, like, and subscribe ahead of time. And don't be a dick or an asshole and watch the entire video. So let's get this thing going. Basic plot picks up where exactly kind of where we left off in the previous episode. The house is up for an eviction notice. Fiona pretty much has to figure out what's going to happen to the house, and then that's pretty much what it is. Now, for this episode, I thought this episode was actually, once again, real good. It seemed like they're getting better. They're starting to find a purpose for a lot of characters. For example, Frank and Debbie storyline. Now, particularly, Frank is back to leeching on a couple of other cancer patients, and Debbie is still being very naive. She's checking on her baby. She didn't even know where the hell the head was. So I was just like, she didn't know where the head was for the sonogram, whatever it is. How the fuck she gonna know what a baby is? She just seems that stupid. Also, Frank's storyline with the cancer patient and now Debbie's storyline with the baby is now being meshed together because Frank wants Debbie to get a bit of a sugar daddy, somebody to leech off on because the Gallaghers like to leech on people apparently to get by. So he eventually finds this guy who eventually makes Debbie the house sitter to a dying wife, and then they kind of mesh that together. And I'm just like, okay, great, awesome, because then that at least solves two problems, because those are two storylines that I thought was just kind of kind of dumb, because Frank and Debbie this season particularly are just like kind of all over the place particularly. But I feel like this kind of gives him something else to do. Ian, he's still looking for the firefighter, guy that kind of saved him. He goes to his fire department, kind of has this over the top like gay fantasy or whatever it may be. I don't know where this storyline is going to go. It should be interesting because Ian seems like he's the type of guy that needs someone to always be with. But that's just my opinion. Also, Fiona pretty much has to get a bank loan. She eventually gets this bank loan, and she has to, get back the house in an auction. And then, once she gets the credit, then she can actually possibly buy the house. Does she get the house? Who knows? I'll tell you about it later on. Now, also, Lip and his teacher, they eventually go on this thing. And I thought it was very cool to see because Lip and his teacher have this conversation while they're walking into the lobby, right? And she's telling him about, like, the swim meet and a couple of actresses, and he doesn't understand what they are particularly. And I thought in a very small way, in a small detailed way, it kind of showed that they are obviously in two different age groups, and they are very two different people. And you can kind of see that's what they're setting up. It'd be like, okay, she's older. She's going to go with another guy. He needs to find somebody his age. And they kind of talk about that later on. And I thought that was a very small detail to kind of gloss over it very quickly. Also, when Fiona kind of calls a meeting to talk about how she did get the bank loan and the car was going to give her the money, and she said no, I thought that was actually a really good thing because it actually showed that Fiona's actually trying to grow. She's not trying to do the Gallagher, just trying to get by thing. She's actually trying to earn it. And she did earn it. And I thought that was kind of good to see that Fiona did grow. It seemed like Dermot Mahoney and her relationship was good. I liked it when he confessed to her. I thought that was actually really well done. Also, because we could learn he killed a man and whatnot. Also, for me particularly, Fiona, Fiona seemed like she's doing well this season particularly. Also, for later on, we kind of see that they do go to the auction, and apparently they do, the auction scene was very intense, right? Because I was like, okay, well, are the guys going to get it? Or are they going to, strand by or whatever it may be? But they don't get it. They lose the house. And then it's just like, okay, so what the hell is going on next week? You see the preview of the next week, and they're very vague as to what's going to happen. But I thought, okay, now I'm kind of worried as to where this goes. And also, the dumbest thing out there, some negatives is just like Fiona's terrible at negotiations, particularly. And also, at the very end, Kevin tells Yanis who eventually not killed him, who eventually, set up or who cut his brake line, whatever it may be. And, eventually he tells him, and then Yanis gets pissed off, and then he is throwing a Molotov, and he kind of burns himself, and then bam, now the Molotov is all over himself, and then somehow he burns, and Kevin just lets him burn, and I was just like, what? Now, I love Shameless, and I think Shameless is great and all, but I have to be honest, that kind of seemed like it was a jump in the shark moment to the point where you just like, okay, so what the hell was this all about? He just left him to die, and he just did this. And I was just like, that's the dumbest shit I've probably ever seen in Shameless. Now, I know murder is like a recurring theme, but you just know that's going to go bad. Also, the money thing is going to go bad. I don't know how they're going to get house back. But Yan is burning and pretty much dead. He should be dead unless they're going to jump the shark here. Then I don't know what the hell is going to happen next week. But yes, comment, subscribe, and like. That's my review of Shameless Season 6, Episode 4. And hopefully you stay to the end. There it is.